Chapter 430 Explosion. At the 6th level of the 5th tower. It was a boundless wasteland. On it were 10 enormous dark golden beasts, some either lying down or others walking about surveying the area, the Space Beast Tsang. The targets of the 6th level, Space Beast Tsang. Luo Feng looked at the 10 space beasts. From his inherited memories he had already known the exact details of Tsang. Accurately speaking, Tsang and the golden horned beast had a special relationship. Among the golden-type space beasts, rank top was naturally the one who stood at the peak of the 12, the golden horned beast. And ranked number 2 was Tsang. Even though it was a simple difference of 1 rank, in truth the difference in their battle abilities was huge. The golden horned beast, once it reached maturity, it automatically became Sector Lord level. Tsang at its peak, however, only reached the Domain Lord level. Even though it was one of the stronger space beasts, it still couldn't compare to the 12 leading bloodlines of the space beasts. However, Tsang had powerful natural talents. As one favored by the gold origin laws, they had fierce and powerful attacks. They could naturally fly, even without any wings. None of the space beasts couldn't fly. In terms of battle ability, their average level was stronger than even the most elite of human bloodlines. These 10 space beasts Tsang, their body length alone were 300 m. The tail was almost as long as the body. Its entire body was covered in dark gold scales and its back had sharp protrusions. Its head was extremely large, just the size of its bloody mouth sent chills down one's spine. Its teeth and biting strength were also incomparably shocking. The top of its head was shiny and covered in scales, and its corneas were triangular, filled with cold bloodlust. Howl. The 10 space beasts Tsang all turned to look at the tiny human Luo Feng. Interesting. Luo Feng's eyes were filled with an even more chilling killing intent. When Tsang meets a golden horned beast, what would happen? Full 0W current novels on n/o/v/3l/b in.co/m. Right now. Tsang had met with a human form golden horned beast Luo Feng. Rumble. Luo Feng stepped on the dark cloud shuttle and became a beam of faintly discernible light. Immediately the 10 space beasts became beams of lights and chased him. However, after 5 years of training, Luo Feng's speed on the dark cloud shuttle was much faster than even Rong Jun during his battle before. And much more nimble. Shwa. 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 In midair, 8 Luo Fengs appeared. The 10 space beasts Tsang all blinked for a second. Almost as though they were confused as to which to chase, immediately spreading out and aiming at one individually. What arrogant punks! Luo Feng curved and simultaneously 5 golden lights floated around him. It was the 5 golden blades, and they immediately shot towards the head of the Tsang that was closest to him. That Tsang's reaction was extremely quick, using his powerful claws to slash at it. Chi. 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 5 golden blades, 2 of which clashed with the claws, the third 2 was knocked away by its tail. Chi. The 4th blade, however, pierced right through its throat, and right through its brain portion, killing it. Different from the golden horned beast, as a middle-level space beast, Tsang had no internal world. Hence it didn't have an internal core, its life and soul was similar to that of a large portion of the flesh and blood life forms. Before reaching the Domain Lord level, the soul was in the brain. Howl. Howl. After losing one Tsang, the incredibly intelligent 9 other Tsangs understood that this opponent wasn't easy to deal with. Hence, they immediately stuck to each other and did not separate. "It's no use, you'll just waste time." Luo Feng was very clear. Even though the space beasts were very powerful and quick, with terrifying natural talents and strength, a same-level human had no ability to match force with force against them. However, their one weakness was that their sizes were too immense. With a bigger physique, it created a dilemma against a human who was much smaller. Hence Luo Feng trained hard in absolute space and deities of the world techniques. Deities of the world allowed him to shrink and condense his size. The absolute space increased the nimbleness, instantaneous explosion, and raising his movement effect. To be able to create 8 images, plus being extremely familiar with the habits and weaknesses of Tsang, even though Luo Feng took up to 10 days to finish this battle, in truth the battle was still simple and clean. The main thing was that last Tsang, Luo Feng purposely waited till the last half hour to actually go and kill it. 5th Tower, Level 7. The space was a blur. Luo Feng entered the 7th level. The 7th level is much more troublesome than the 6th. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. As a spirit reader controller against numbers and surrounding attacks, he had an advantage over the fighters. However, that's because he had higher speeds to dodge and using movement and space to create an advantageous position. However, when the opponent's numbers are too crazy, anyone would be caught in a dilemma. This was an endless desert. In the distant green patch in the desert, there was a bumpy round ball with a diameter of 120 m. Its surface emitted poisonous liquid, while poisonous gas surrounded it. 120 m was akin to the 40-floor building. This 40-floor building mother nest's surface with bumpy holes, all began to produce green mucus triangular brain like bugs with outer shells, all with 2 horns. Their huge compound eyes all focused, their 2 hind legs supported their bodies, with 4 other legs in front. Their bodies were like blades, and on their backs they even had 2 translucent wings. Within the 40-story tall huge mother nest, every hole itself was at least 1 m in diameter. Almost in an instant, the surface of the mother nest had produced 1,000 bugs. Who? After 3 continuous rounds, it produced about 3,000 bugs altogether, and all of them were the same green praying mantis. The green praying mantis was a very common cannon fodder seen in the Bug Clan warriors. Even though they were called cannon fodder, these were still cannon fodder that battled outside the starfields. Luckily, the entire power of the Bug Clan mother nest had been prearranged, otherwise a true mother nest could produce many different species of bugs. From their abilities, they could be split into the scanning types, assassin types, long distance, attacking force, etc. If they were split according to their structure, that would be even more. 3,000 green praying mantis. Luo Feng looked at the mantis that flew or marched over, as they covered both the land and skies. Creasing his eyebrows, the mother nest sent everything it could at one go. The next batch should be 20 minutes later. The mother nest required time to produce the bugs. These 3,000 were prepared long ago. Of course, in reality the mother nest's ability wasn't that weak. Otherwise, how could it easily dominate a galaxy or entire starfield? Kill. The death god Bolan's strength made the others look on in envy. The people who ranked overall between 2 to 6 had all died at the 6th tower level 1. The ones ranked between 7 to 11 all died at the 7th level of the 5th tower. The ones between 12 to 21 died at the 6th level of the 5th tower. And the number 1 actually reached the first level of Tower 7. From these results alone, Rank 2 and others weren't too far off from each other. Except for the one ranked number 1. He had completely cast everyone far behind him, the distance was too huge. Death God Bolin was kicked out of the training space. The only ones remaining were the 3 people, Blood Tip Candita, Blade of Life Yifeng and Madman Luo Feng. 5th level of the 5th tower. Standing on the whirlwind tape, his face with 2 purple streaks, a bald strong-looking Candita squinted his eyes, looking at the scene before him unfolding. It was a huge automaton testing base. Its surface was completely made of an alloy. At the same time on its alloy surface there were 108 m tall, completely silver humanoid automaton puppets. Automaton puppets, these were soldiers created by the automaton race. Every one of the automaton race were all living AIs. All of them could be considered control terminals. Any one of them can form an automaton empire. And the automaton puppets were one of the soldier weapons the Empire had created. Wang. The 100 tall automaton puppets began to move. Their eyes were shooting out red light which immediately locked onto the human, Candita. Rumble. 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 The automaton puppets immediately became beams of light, running until they began to fly, swiftly heading towards Candita. Their speeds are obviously much faster than the puppets of the 4th tower. Candita stood on the whirlwind tape, becoming an arc and dodging the puppets' frontal attack. The best way to win against the puppets was to kill them one by one. Matching force with force was simply crazy. Shio. 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 Formless railgun beams shot out from the automaton puppets' arms. The railguns were separated into many categories. The highest of the lot could reach light speed. However, railguns were extremely expensive. Even the automaton empire of the automaton race could only install such light-speed weaponry on the most important of devices. And these automaton puppets shot from far, their speeds were far below light speed. I hate these long-distance attacks the most. Candita grit his teeth. As time passed, the battle grew more tragic and Candita got injured. The automaton puppets were slowly getting their heads destroyed along with their chips inside being destroyed. Rumble. The automaton puppet's iron fist slammed hard, but Candita managed to dodge barely, causing it to hit the ground. The alloy ground immediately had a huge dent, creating a huge crevice. Iron fists. Leg knives. Railguns. Flame. Body slams. These huge automaton lumps were insusceptible to spirit attacks. One could only destroy them through forcefully breaking their chips. Peng. The heavily injured Candita, who was facing against iron fists aimed at him, finally failed to dodge. One fist directly slammed him into the alloy ground. He instantly became a pile of meat. Candita, 5th tower, 5th level, failure. Final ranking 28. Similarly on the 5th level of the 5th tower. Big bastards, come, come. A handsome purple-haired youth was almost like a monster. Like a gust of wind, floating above the heads of the large automaton puppets. The reaction and movement speeds of this 5th tower automaton puppets, along with their attack strengths, were all set to be very high. To actually dare to weave through amidst these puppets, that was simply madness. He was the Blade of Life, Yifeng. This shy youth's eyes were very pure. They had a sort of glee, almost as though dancing in the face of death didn't bring any nervousness at all to him. Pucci. Pucci. blades infused with endless amount of life energy lit up. Be it harming the joints and parts of the puppets, or directly piercing through them and damaging or killing them, he smiled happily as he unleashed every move, and every move was simply dazzling. He, Yifeng, was born in the ancient Will Universe country Imperial family. The Imperial family had been around for trillions of years. The Imperial family title alone didn't give him much though. If he wanted to get wealth or position, he had to rely on himself. However, since he was young, he had some problems mentally. The lower half of his body didn't respond to him at all, only the upper half was normal. Although there were advanced technologies which were able to change bloodlines or a body's internal organs, etc. However, the brain is the core where the soul resides. Hence the brain was something that couldn't be changed. Changing it would mean it would become a totally different person. As for repossession, he didn't have the power to do so, and no one could help him. Ever since he was young, he sat in a wheelchair and watched the other young children of the Imperial family train. He couldn't hold it in any longer. He thought that acquiring the most basic training methods of the Imperial family, and according to other sayings, maybe through the training, his body would naturally improve and cure itself. He trained hard. Since he couldn't use the lower half of his body, he used his two hands instead, swinging the blades over and over. The blades gave him hope and was his understanding of life. His blade skills continued to improve to the point where it was unbelievable. Eventually, Elliot gained recognition from the Imperial family, and he was finally passed to an Undying who personally helped him, allowing him to be able to stand finally and control the lower half of his body. He was able to stand up. Being disabled for tens of years, this gave him an incomparable enjoyment of flying. Every time he flew, he used his movement, dancing with the blades. He would laugh happily. His blade work allowed him to enter the wood origin laws. Movement allowed him to enter the wind origin laws. Stepping through the gateway of two origin laws allowed his position to rise greatly within the Imperial family. Even though his position got higher, he was still that same shy youth from before. In his heart he had a burning passion for life. He was in love with the wind he produced when he flew. The Blade of Life Yifeng destroyed 100 automaton puppets and successfully made it thought the 5th level of the 5th tower, and later moving on to the 6th. However, the 6th level was filled with 10 space beasts Tsang. The Tsang's nimbleness was much higher than the puppets from before, and these were all Tsangs that had stepped through the gateway of origin laws. Yifeng killed 3 Tsangs before ultimately failing. This shy youth made it to the 6th level of the 5th tower, and eventually ranked 16. At this time, with Blood Tip Candida and Blade of Life Yifeng being kicked out of the training space, the only one still within was one person, Madman Luo Feng.